And welcome to our Uniform Public Services Virtual Open Day today. My name's Lucy. I'm going to host the session and then I'll be handing over to Colin, who is one of the Uniform Public Services team, and he'll give you some more information about the courses. If you haven't already registered for the open day, please do so. The link's in the chat box. So if you can just hop on there and register with us, that way we can send you a link and also just keep you updated with college information. And so you can find out what's happening at Uxbridge College. If you have got any questions, we're happy to answer those. We'll keep them to the end of the session. So do please use the chat box. We've got that there and we'll pick those up at the end. That's everything from me. So I'm going to hand over to Colin and he'll give you some more information about the courses. Colin, over to you.
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, folks. Like to again welcome you to Uxbridge College, and today we're going to do a presentation on the Uniformed Public Service course. So let's get started. Okay, so a little bit about the team. Come from sort of very diverse service background. There are actually 6 members of staff, but 5 sort of core members of staff on the team currently. And we boast over 110 years experience between us, and that goes into a variety of areas, which I'll quickly show you shortly. So the aim of the course is to prepare you for the academic and physical challenges of the uniformed services. So we're not just getting you academically stronger to go off to do jobs like that. We're also trying to give you the knowledge and skills to work within those job roles, but also meet those physical challenges, which is why we have a strong emphasis on skills and fitness as part of the program. The objectives for us is to increase your chances for employment within those services, and that's something we take great pride in. And we also want you guys exploring those opportunities out there to develop those employment options as you go through your career. So it doesn't just stop with us getting you into, let's say, the ambulance service or the Royal Navy. We actually want you to think past that and think about the progression routes that you can go on during your career, and opportunities that might come up or you might sort of look at. And then on top of that, it wouldn't be a course if we didn't sort of consider universities. So again, we take sort of great pride. 55% of our second years last year went off to university, which is our best percentage to date. But again, we're not just trying to get you to go into universities and do courses that are kind of mainstream. We try and get you to think outside the box. So if you're looking at joining the police force, you might think, okay, I'll go off to university and do policing or criminology. We try and get you to think a little bit further than that. Look at things like terrorism studies or security management, forensics. So we try and broaden you to make you a little bit more attractive when you come to apply for those jobs. So a little bit about the team. So that's our sort of our main team. So we've got Jackie Cadwell, Paul, myself, Colin, Jeff, and Keith. Okay, a little bit about myself. 6 years in the British Army. I used to jump out of planes for a living, what you refer to as a para. 10 years private security, close protection for high net worth clients. I've worked with the Foreign and Commonwealth Office as a security advisor, currently doing a master's in counter-terrorism, and traveled all over the world with those particular jobs. Okay. Jackie Cadwell, been a member of the team for a while now. She's 20 years with the Met Police, 10 years attached to Vice Squad. Again, she's got a master's in law, society, criminal justice. We'll have a look at Paul. Okay, Paul's got a slightly mixed career. He spent 5 years with the Royal Marines, mostly 4-2 Commando, and then had a career of 29 years with the Metropolitan Police. And he's got a varied sort of accolade of directions he's gone into there, including murder squad, anti-terrorism, special operations. Again, traveled all over the world. His sort of claim to fame is being part of the national response team during 9/11. Jeff is a new member of staff, literally just left the army the 30th of September, just gone. That's after 25 years, including 2 years with the British Army Reserves. He was part of Princess of Wales's Royal Regiment. So he's recently joined the team, served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other places like Canada, Belize, Kenya, Bosnia, etc. His claim to fame is he saved some ducks' life, okay, in a war zone. So that's his claim to fame. And then we've also got Keith, again, another new member of staff, not new to teaching. He's been teaching for a while now, but 10 years in the British Army with the Irish Guards, again, travelled all over the world in those jobs. You know, ceremonial duties, trooping the colour, state opening of Parliament, claim to fame, claims to have carried the FA Cup as presented at one of the finals. Okay, so that is the team. Okay, the sort of things that the team will introduce to you as part of your assessments on the course will be written work, of course, so that's those dreaded essays, role plays, research tasks, problem solving, presentations, teamwork, peer reviews, tabletop exercises, case studies, discussions. So it's very sort of varied the way we try to approach assessments. And we do it in that way to kind of keep the course interesting and get you out and about, get you a little bit more out of the classroom. As you can see, our students there, they're kind of working on an outside activity where they're dealing with a major incident, which is part of one of our units. And they've got a map out there and they're sort of mapping, you know, who should go where from the emergency services, and creating kind of the command structure that's needed to deal with an incident like that. The good news is, because we offer these varied forms of assessment, you know, we have no exams as part of the course. So if you are a little bit phobic of exams, this is probably the course for you. Currently we do level 1, level 2 and level 3 program. I'll come on to the level 3 shortly, but a little bit about the level 1 and the level 2. Both level 1s and level 2 are 1-year courses. For the level 1, you have entry requirements of 4 GCSEs at grades 2 or above. Level 2, same again, 1-year course, entry requirements, 4 GCSEs, but grades are a little bit higher at 3 or above. What you can do if you've been on a level 1 is you can use the level 1 to progress onto a level 2. Really good retention rates, you know, sort of hitting in 2019, sort of 100% retention. Last year, level 1s were 96% and level 2s were at 96%. So really, really good retention rates. We don't tend to lose many students because the course is enjoyable. Our level 3 course or courses are actually broken down into 2 different levels. So they're taught at the same level. The classes are actually mixed, but what we do is we have a slightly easier pathway where there's slightly less workload put onto the students, and that's known as the 60 credit. 60 credit is 2 years, like the 90 credit, which is also 2 years. To get on the 60 credit, you have to have done a level 2 qualification, or 4 GCSEs if you're coming directly from school, which we expect to be at 4 or above. And if you're doing 90 credit, we'd expect to see those GCSEs at 5 or above. And again, you need 4 of them. Last year, our 60s and 90s, so this is in their first year of study, we had, sorry, that should say 2020, but we had 92% retention. Our year 2 students, our retention was at 96%, so again, very high. Our actual progression was very good. You can see there at the bottom, 55% of those students went on to university, and we had a further 31% of the students that kind of are in the process of getting into the uniform services or have already arrived, and they're going through basic training or trade training now. So progression routes are very good for the course. A little bit more about the 60 and 90 credit. The 60 credit is equivalent to 2 A-levels in regards to UCAS points, and the 90 credit is equivalent to 3 A-levels. Again, the level is the same. The classes are actually taught together. but you just on the 60 credit do slightly less subjects to lighten the load to allow you to really focus on those higher grades on a level 3 with a 90 credit. That's for the stronger students, which we hope are able to achieve those higher grades over more subjects. So I will answer more questions on that later if you have any. In regards to UCAS points, you can see here, if you're looking at going to university to get onto a degree, you're going to require about 96 points UCAS to get onto that. So if we look at the 2-year 90 credit, that's the extended diploma, you would need to get merit to get the minimum requirement to get into university on a degree course. So that's 96 UCAS points. Some degrees will ask you to have 112, 118. So obviously you're going to need to sort of be reaching those higher grades. Okay, I'm just going to quickly flash through some of the subjects we do. So government policies, normally tie that in with a visit to Parliament. Land navigation, this is where we go out and go on expeditions and teach you how to map, read and use a compass. Similar to Duke of Edinburgh, I'd like to think the navigation skills are a lot higher on what we teach here. Leadership and teamwork, very sort of practical focused, so a little bit of psychology in there as well. So you learn about sort of different leadership models, different sort of team roles and the psychology behind that. Again, sort of very practical. We get you working in sort of public service environments to get you sort of industry ready. International institutions and human rights, one of my favorite subjects, where we get to look at what international institutions do abroad, how public services work with them, you know, how we sort of deal with human rights issues. That nicely links into the next subject, which is impact of war, conflict and terrorism. So we look at why conflicts start. We look at terrorism and the issues around that, including radicalization, social media, that type of stuff. Okay, big part of the course, as previously mentioned, is fitness testing. You know, fitness has to be an important part of the course, because in order for you to get into most public services, you really do need to have a certain level of fitness, which is something we work on in the time that you're here to get you ready. There's no point doing all the academic work if you're not going to physically be capable of getting onto the course, onto that future progression. So planning and management of major incident. So this is kind of what do public services do in case of major incidents. Security procedures. I'll just quickly scan through some of these now. And as you can see, the course is quite practical. What you may have noticed during some of these slides is the students actually have different colour uniforms. That is to sort of foster ownership and sort of team camaraderie between the students. It is our uniform, it does become our identity, and the students actually take to it quite well, and they're broken down into 3 colours. Okay, so sort of activities, enrichment that you'll be doing on the course, varied fitness, as you can see, and we try and involve the public services as and when we can. Volunteering work experience is a big part of what we do, have very sort of good success rates on work experience, and get involved in local sort of activities, hopefully sometimes get over to the Royal Hospital Chelsea as well. And then we have challenges as well. So within our sort of teams, about once a term, we get together and have a sort of day out in the fields at the back of the college and set loads of different challenges, from Moscow Mule to going paintballing. We've just recently done the gun run with our students, and they compete against each other and just have a little bit of fun. But it's very much to foster those skills, teamwork, leadership that you would expect to see within the services. And career visits, obviously with COVID, it's been a little bit more difficult this year, but we have got some really good sort of partners out there that we sort of have sort of come in and do sort of Zoom talks. But normally we're getting out and visiting a variety of services, from fire search and rescue, the Royal Navy, the British Army, Royal Air Force, We do a Royal Marines week. You know, we get the sort of police in to do talks on their sort of courses that they run or apprenticeships they run, counter-terrorism talks. It also includes visits to different universities. So we've, over the years, visited Coventry, Portsmouth, Buckinghamshire University, Defence School of Policing down in Portsmouth. So that's to look at the military police across all three armed services. Mountain Search and Rescue, a Parliament visit, and the Fire Service College as well. Public service enrichment trips. So I've previously mentioned we go paintballing. We take students off to the Brecon Beacons. We do an activities week in Blacklands Farm. So that can be anything from tunneling, archery, high ropes, kayaking, etc. We do day walks. We go to the New Forest, all really kind of working on those team building, leadership type skills that you need, but also developing the map and nav and expedition skills as well. Okay, sort of progression that our students have gone on to. You know, we've had students join the Army. We had 4 students join the Royal Navy last year. 3 have gone on to do apprenticeships with the Met Police from last year. We had 1 join the RAF last year. Border Force. We had a student recently start with the Grenadier Guards. We've got a student that's trying to join the Parachute Regiment. So yeah, it's a good sort of range of different services there, including the Fire and Rescue Service as well. University progression that we've seen students go on to is also quite varied. So 2 of our students have gone off to Portsmouth University to do international development and diplomacy. We've had students go off to Coventry University to do international disaster and relief, but you know, other sort of subjects also include law, cybersecurity, security management, terrorism studies, even sports coaching, criminology and psychology and policing, the sort of standard stuff that you'd expect to see. And that is it for me. So what I'm going to do now is allow you guys to ask some questions if you have any.
Thank you, Colin. It's always interesting to hear the range of jobs, careers and universities that the students from this area go to, because I know it covers quite a range of things. And we did have a question previously from somebody in our welcome session about paramedics. And one of the suggestions I gave obviously was the courses here, because I know that students do go on into that area as well. We have had a question come through, which hopefully you can answer for us. Can adults join the Level 1 Public Services course?
At the moment they can, although I believe there are funding issues next year, but we do have mature students on the course. I certainly in my time of teaching, I've had students as old as 33 on a public service course, but generally at the moment I think 22 is the oldest that we've got.
So probably the just to pick up on the person asking that question, have a chat. You can obviously contact the public services team, have more of a chat about that, and also the careers and the student services team should be able to help as well. So there are a couple of different options there. Another question that's just popped in, somebody who studies in the French Lyceum, they set an exam called Brevet de Collège. Would you accept that for a BTEC level 3?
We would obviously have to sort of explore that internally to see how the course looks level wise. What I would say is we very much sort of do a lot of early assessments on students to see what level they're working at. So regardless of qualifications that you might have from schools and other places of study, what we try and do is assess you early on to make sure that you're on the right level, and then make the adjustments accordingly. We certainly don't try and turn anybody away. If they really want to be on the course, we try and accommodate.
And in terms of just picking up on Colin's point there, if you do want to study with us, and say, for example, you're looking at a level 3 course and you may not have the exam grades, there's opportunity for the level 2. So again, don't be worried, make your application and we'll get that, as Colin said, you know, an opportunity to talk with you and make sure that we get you on the right level. So don't be put off applying, go for it, and then we can sort out the level for you there. And another question that's come through, what time do we start and finish, and what days would we have off? That's for extra study, no doubt.
Hopefully.
In your spare time.
There's a lot of colleges out there that tend to sort of run 3-day programs. What I would say to that is we actually do 4 days here. So it's almost part-time, really, Lucy. You know, if you're going to come onto a course like this, it's very much about being part of it, being part of the structure. You need to kind of be in it enough to really kind of get the sort of sense of what it is to be a member of the public services, and hopefully the course gives you that. So we actually do 4 days. That's normally combined with maths and English. If you're not doing maths and English, there are times and places within the college where you can do sort of further studies or really sort of push for those higher grades when we give out assignments. So it's a 4-day week, to answer the question. Start time, we actually start earlier than the rest of the college. Public service students are actually in at 8 o'clock. Those sessions, not always, but in most cases, are fitness related. So we try and get these sort of early morning fitness sessions done. And then we allow you time to sort of get yourself showered, changed, maybe have breakfast, and then come to one of the sort of main lessons that we have in the day.
And there's a couple more questions, and I appreciate we probably need to wrap up time-wise, but there's just a couple of questions. One just about fees and how much, and also age range of the class.
Okay, mostly the age range is 18 to 19. That obviously depends on different levels, but mostly it's 18 to 19. We do have the 2 or 3 students that are sort of 20 up to 22 years of age. The fees for the course, we're currently at £280, but just note that that covers the trip to the Brecon Beacons, which is 4 nights. We do a trip to the New Forest, which is 3 nights. We do a trip to Blacklands Farm, which is also 3 nights. Plus we do several trips to different public services. So you've got all the transport costs there. You've got the paintballing as well. Royal Marine visits, university visits. You get quite a lot for your money. So yeah, and it's good value.
Just to add to that, if you're 16 to 18, the tuition fees, there are no tuition fees. So the cost that Colin talks about, obviously there may be, if you're over 19, there may be some changes to that. So again, it's worth having a chat with the team, making the application, and then obviously you can get some information. So tuition fees for 16 to 18 are free, but obviously the costs in terms of the residential. But of course, we do have student support. So if you need to look at any assistance with finance, then it's worth talking to student support as well. So hopefully that's answered some of the questions. Just another question that came in very, very quickly, just got that last one. There's a lot of fitness training. Is that adapted if you've got any medical conditions, for example, something like asthma?
We have a variety of levels. I wouldn't be put off by the fitness. It's there to get you fitter, stronger. We're not after you being superhuman. We just want to get you ready for whatever you're progressing on to. Obviously, the different services have different levels as well, so we're not trying to make you into paratroopers.
Perfect. That's all the time we have got. So
Perfect.
Just like to wrap up to say thank you very much, Colin. Great insight. And I know one of the questions that did come through that we didn't really answer very well was about favourite trips, but I'm sure that there are many of those because I know these students do go out and about and do have lots of really good experiences as part of the course. Just remains for me to say thank you for joining us. We will send a link out to the session in the next few days, so obviously you can listen to that over again. Online applications are available, so hit up the website if you want to apply. We're ready for you to do that. And if you are interested in any other sessions that we're offering, head to the website on the Open Days page and you can find details of that there. Thank you very much again, everybody, and have a good rest of the day. Thanks.
Thanks, folks.